There are questions growing also about the warning signs missed. People who knew the 19-year-old shooter say he had a troubled past and disturbing social media posts. Our chief national correspondent Tom Yamas is in Fort Lauderdale. And Tom, there's focus now on a tip to the FBI.
That's right, George. There was a tip to the FBI, and it involved social media, but the agency says they did not have enough information at the time. Now, regardless of that, we've been digging into Nikolas Cruz's background, and what we've been told is about a long struggle with mental illness and a history of violence. This morning, authorities describing the mind of alleged shooter Nikolas Cruz as warped and possibly demented. Law enforcement sources tell ABC News the 19-year-old gunman told investigators he heard voices in his head directing him to conduct the attack. And according to the arrest affidavit, Cruz allegedly confessed to the killings after being taken into custody. Cruz's lawyers say he was battling mental illness recently, magnified by the passing of his mother, who died from the flu. Overnight, a family friend telling ABC News Linda Cruz was devoted to Nikolas and his little brother.
She never did anything. She never went anywhere. She was always with her children, every single day, every minute. So I don't understand how this tragedy happened.
But in the neighborhood where the alleged gunman grew up, memories of strange behavior since he was a boy.
Do you remember him doing anything in the neighborhood that was strange?
Yeah, he shot at chickens across. He used to have a little pellet gun, and he shot at chickens across in the back there.
He cornered a squirrel and was pegging rocks at it, trying to kill it.
ABC affiliate WPLG reports Cruz was expelled from the high school on February 8th last year. 3 days later, he legally bought the AR-15 at this gun store, less than 10 miles from the school. Yesterday led into court with his ankles and wrists in cuffs.
Are you Nikolas Jacob Cruz?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, sir. You are charged with 17 counts of premeditated murder.
His defense team says he's on suicide watch at the jail.
This is a loss for this community, a tragic loss of 17 children.
The horror of it all, too much for one of Cruz's defense lawyers. The assistant public defender getting emotional during a news conference and walking away to compose himself.
This young man is deeply disturbed, emotionally broken.
The disturbed nature seems apparent from his social media activity. Sources tell ABC News that this Instagram account belongs to the suspect. In one photo, he's seen holding a pistol. And there were other signs of trouble. In September, video blogger Ben Benite saw a comment on his YouTube page. A commenter with the name Nikolas Cruz posting, "I'm gonna be a professional school shooter."
Thought that to be odd and disturbing, so I forwarded that screenshot to the FBI and reported it to YouTube.
The FBI looked into the post but couldn't track down Cruz. Now, as far as Cruz's mental state, sources have told us he was in therapy at one point. Family friends have told us he did take medication at one point. But by all accounts, when his mother died, George, he went into a free fall of darkness.
George? As his defender said, emotionally broken. Okay, thanks, Tom. We have our chief legal analyst, Dan Abrams, here right now. So many signs that this young man mentally ill. You could almost argue it's by definition in a case like this, but that doesn't mean an insanity defense can succeed.
That's right. Just having been in therapy, having even a documented history of significant mental illness wouldn't necessarily be enough to win an insanity defense. We saw this in the Aurora, Colorado shooting in that movie theater. James Holmes, in that case, was mentally ill. There's no question about it. And yet he did not succeed in his defense of insanity.
So why? What is the
You
standard?
have to be able to show that effectively you didn't understand what you were doing was wrong. And the problem is any bit of premeditation, any bit of thought as to how you would go about committing the crime, about, for example, him running away with the other kids, all shows that he knew what he did was wrong in some way.
He was killing people.
That's right, in some way, shape, or form. So people out there, I think people sort of get really concerned about the insanity defense. You know, this person's going to get off. It almost never succeeds these days, particularly in a case like this where you have multiple victims, you have someone who prepared for it, you have someone who tried to escape with the rest of the people. This is going to be an almost impossible insanity defense if that's what he pursues.
Then it raises the question of the death penalty, Florida death penalty state.
I don't think there's any question he's going to face the death penalty, and that's where this could help. The fact, if a jury believes he had significant mental illness, They won't find him not guilty. He'll still be found guilty, but it is possible that he could avoid the death penalty because of mental illness.
Come in a much later stage.
That's right. It would be a separate phase of the case where the jury would make a recommendation to the judge as to death or not death. You'd have to have a unanimous verdict. And if they do recommend unanimously death, then the judge has the final word.
Dan Abrams, thanks very much. Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.